Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. Sometimes we wish there was just a special little pill that I could swallow and everything would change in my life. I wish there was such a pill. How about you? So in times when maybe I'm depressed or someone is depressed, if there was just that little pill that could change everything and I would feel great again. Or if I'm sad, I could take this special type of herbal tea and make the sadness go away. At times, maybe there are even suicidal types of thoughts that may come to you or to me. And I wish there was some type of little magic pill that we could take and it would all go away. Now, naturally, there are physical causes. There can be physical causes to things like depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. And they should be addressed professionally with medication. But we all, in all areas of our life, seem to want that magic pill that will solve everything. And many products are sold that way. They promise a lot, but they deliver nothing. Now, today we're going to look at a very sensitive topic, the topic of suicide, the topic of depression, sadness, and I'm not making light of it at all. It's a serious issue. I've had times of depression in my life where I've actually taken medicine to get me out of the chemical imbalance that I had. But I've found that there's something deeper going on when I am depressed, when some depression comes. There's some deeper situation going on. And now we're going to look today at a man who was suicidal, ready to kill himself. He actually had a sword in his hand, ready to kill himself. And then in just a matter of maybe an hour or less, he was no longer suicidal, but he was filled with joy. And he didn't take the magic pill, and he didn't have any herbal tea or the latest advertised heal everything that we see on media. What happened is his perspective on everything in his life changed radically. And he went from being suicidal to being filled with joy. And we're going to be looking at Paul's story, and specifically the story of the man who's known as the Philippian jailer. He was Paul's jailer. Now, just to back up and set the stage, Paul and Silas have been arrested. They've been beaten, put in jail. The jailer is in charge of them now. He puts them in the inner jail, puts leg irons on them so they cannot even move around. And then something strange happens. Paul and Silas are singing in the midst of being in jail, bleeding, beaten, and chained to the floor. No depression, no sadness, no thoughts of suicide. What's going on with these men? No feeling sorry for themselves. They're singing hymns and praying to God. Strange. What do they know that I don't know? Perhaps the jailer is thinking. And then something even stranger happens. There's an incredible earthquake and everybody's chains is broken off. Seems like God actually answered their prayer. And now the jailer is suicidal. He's going to kill himself because he was in charge of them. If they get away, he's going to be killed. So he might as well kill himself. Everything he thinks, everything he's been taught, everything he knows points to kill yourself. It's the only way out. And yet Paul in that moment calls out to him and says, we're still here. He comes in with a light. And he says, he falls down before Paul and Silas. He's amazed. He's seen God answer supernaturally. He's seen these men have a totally different way of living, not being broken by beating or anything. And he's astounded. And he says from the depths of his heart, what must I do to be saved? How do I become like you? What do I have to do? Paul tells him, believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and you'll be saved, you and your household. So he does that. And then it brings us to Acts chapter 16, verse 34. And this is what it says. And this is a message for you and for me today. It says this: the jailer brought them into his house and set a meal before them. He, the jailer, was filled with joy because he had come to believe in God, he and his whole household. He was depressed. He was suicidal when his focus, catch this, when his focus was on his situation. When he thought there's nothing else, this is it, my situation. And we get that kind of box-like mentality. This is the situation I'm in. I can't think outside of this box, this situation that I'm in. And that's our perspective. And in that perspective, his life is hopeless. But God used the worst nightmare. Listen to me. God used the worst nightmare in his life. The worst thing he could imagine. Prisoners breaking out of their chains. God used the worst to turn him to believe in Jesus. When he hit bottom, when he thought, when what he was trusting in, which was his position, his control of the prisoners, when what he was trusting him in was shattered, his mind was opened, and God changed his perspective. The bottom became the way out. And that happens in our lives also. What we think is the end is only the beginning. And I know I'm speaking to somebody today. What you think is the end in your life right now is actually the beginning. Maybe somebody in ministry, things have failed. They say this is the end. It's only the beginning for you. He changed his perspective on what was important. Now he knew God, and he knew that was the most important thing that ever would matter. He had a new foundation, a firm foundation that would last through every storm, every trouble, every difficulty. He had a new perspective, because a new foundation gives you a new perspective on situations. He was filled with joy, because he had come to believe in God, he and his whole household. And that's what really matters, and no one can take that from you. No situation can take that from you. Yes, you still go through struggles, but you have a deep, abiding joy because you know God and you know his love. Nehemiah 8:10 tells us that the joy of the Lord is your strength. It'll sustain you through every trial of life. Psalm 30 verse 11 says, you turned my wailing into dancing. You removed my sackcloth, a sign of mourning, and clothed me with joy. That's what God does when we come to him. So what's our application? If you don't know Jesus Christ personally, I urge you, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you will be saved, and your household, and it'll change your perspective completely. The second application, if you're struggling with losing hope, remind yourself today, now, that weeping may last for a night, but joy will come in the morning. The joy that is deeper than any struggle that you may face. So I pray you would find that joy. You would live in that joy. You would have that joy today. And let me know if this video has helped you today. I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless you.